Hi everyone, it's Angela here from Women's Business Voice, and today we are thrilled to introduce a brand new podcast series. It's entitled From Side Hustles to Empires, The History of Working Women's Lives. And I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Amy Edwards, who's going to be conducting conversations with a wide range of historians. The series as a whole will explore the relationship between gender, work and career in the 19th, 20th and 21st centuries, asking what's new and what isn't about the nature of working women's lives in Britain. Episodes will focus on different industries, from politics and science to entertainment, sex advice, sales and beyond, through the lives of some of the women who worked in them. This series will explore not only the success stories of famous entrepreneurs and business leaders, but also hidden histories of women who made a living in systems and structures not often designed with them in mind. Our guest, Amy, is a senior lecturer in modern British history at the University of Bristol, where she worked from the past 10 years. Her research focuses on how ordinary people experience large economic changes and how people in the past worked, saved, spent, and invested their money. Her first book, Are We Rich Yet?, told the story of how the worlds of business and finance became part of our day-to-day culture. It looked at things like business press, finance advice columns, investment-based board games, and the popularity of the filofax in the 80s. But more recently, she's been carrying out a research project that looks at the lives of self-employed women from the 1950s to the 2000s. So I'm delighted to welcome Amy, Dr. Amy Edwards. Thank you so much for joining us, Amy.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So I'm so excited about this series with you. We've never done anything like it, and I know it's going to be not only a hit, but it's going to be timeless. It's going to be something that we can refer to. I know you want to share it with your future students, and so I'm hoping this will be a real masterpiece that will serve generations to come.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Amy,
I'm sorry.
carry
I'm
on,
talking
carry
over
on.
you. Oh no, I was just going to say it is really exciting for me too. I've done little bits of being on other people's podcasts, but it's really exciting to work on a project together and kind of curate a series that allows us to do some really interesting and fun stuff. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, it will be. So tell us a bit more about your current project then, The Secret of Success, Women and Self-Employed in Britain. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it's a project I've been working on for about the last 2 years. It's funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council, and I'm doing it as part of my ongoing research at the University of Bristol. But essentially, it's a project about the lives of women who work for themselves, broadly since the 1950s, but kind of coming up right into the early 2000s and even up to the present day. And really all I wanted to do was find out about a group of people that it's quite hard to find out about historically. So when we think about work in the past, as historians, it's easier to find out about people who worked in kind of professions and careers and big industries because newspapers write about them a lot. They appear in on the news. You can go to archives and find out about what it's like to be a teacher, or people talk about lawyers a lot. But I realized that there were thousands and thousands of people who don't really leave many records behind, which is people who work for themselves as sole traders, small business owners. So you can find out little bits and pieces, but not loads. So yeah, essentially, I wanted to find out more about why people, and particularly for this project, women chose self-employment or to work for themselves, and what life was like when they did. Really just as a better way of understanding the changing nature of work, but also gender roles in British society. So that's kind of what the project's been doing. I've been doing archival research, but the really fun bit is I've been interviewing women who are now in their kind of 60s, 70s and 80s about their lives, and particularly their working lives when they were younger. So yeah, it's been really good fun.
Oh, that's going to be fascinating. And I agree, there's not much written around that. One of my favorite books is Good to Great. Do you know the book by Jim Collins? So that's research-based. It's all research-based. Fantastic book, until one day I realized this doesn't apply to me. This is about those working in corporate. This is about, it's a fantastic book, fantastic research. But I realized these rules don't apply to me. It's totally different when you're running your own business. And it's very hard to find a really good research work around that. So I'm super excited about reading what you come up with and what you find in your work. What made you want to do a podcast series about working women's lives?
Yeah, again, a really good question. I should say some of this and some of my whole interest in this is both my parents worked for themselves when I was growing up. So my dad used to run a corner shop and then became a painter decorator, and my mum ran a nursery school. So some of this, I think, was just I was interested in kind of their outlook and understanding that. But in terms of doing a podcast, I guess I'm generally interested, as you mentioned in your intro, in how, like, quote unquote, ordinary people, just everyday people, experience like large economic changes. So the things that seem like nameless and faceless, the things that are like happening up here in the economy, what that actually looks like in people's day-to-day lives. And work is one of those areas. So I guess if my past work looked at how people felt about their finances, about how they came to learn about saving, investing, what they did with their money, that was a project that was about the popular image of like culture, a kind of a popular image, of finance around the world. And this time I wanted to find out about that other big area of people's lives, the thing that we spend so much of our time doing, which is working.
Yeah,
and I wanted to know what work meant to people. So not only like how many people did different kinds of jobs or what the changing stats were, but like what did work mean to people? What did they look for in their working lives? What challenges did they face? And how have the ways that we worked over time, how has that changed? And doing this, what I found was that it was women's working lives that often prefigured or anticipated a lot of the trends that we see today. Especially if we look at the lives of women who work for themselves. So the idea of working like flexible hours or non-standard hours, the idea of working from home a lot, the idea of kind of piecing together several different jobs or kind of having side hustles. That was a lot more common for women working in the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. So in that period, when we think of work, we tend to think of the norm of, a man in a long-standing maybe industrial career or a kind of a career in a company, and he has, like a corporate career.
Yeah.
Whereas there were so many women in this time who were doing all the things that now we think of as like, this is exactly what work is like in the 21st century. But there have been thousands of people who've worked like that for decades.
Yeah.
I just wanted to understand a bit more about the kinds of opportunities and conditions and barriers that affected women as they worked, and why it is that they kind of experienced the kind of working conditions and how that came to then be a norm that we now kind of live with a bit more today. But yeah, long story short, I thought I don't have the expertise to do this on my own. I only know about a very small bit of this. So I thought if we did a podcast series, it'd be a great opportunity to reach out to people I know and work with. I'm very lucky in my line of work that I get to work with loads of interesting people who have expertise in all sorts of things. So I thought, yeah, I know just the people who can tell me all about the bits of this that I don't know.
So give us a little sneak preview, the kinds of topics or histories we'll encounter through these 12 episodes.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a bit of a rip-roaring ride. We'll kind of cover lots of different bits and pieces. But essentially, as you kind of mentioned in the introduction, we'll be looking largely at the 20th century, touching bits into the 19th century, so the 1800s and little bits and pieces that happened just before the Industrial Revolution, but mainly looking what happened in the 20th century. So the period like before World War One, the interwar period, and then really the main focus I think that we'll be looking at is what has happened since World War Two and how have the big changes in how women exist in society affected the ways that work looked for women as well, what careers looked like, all of those kinds of things. So some episodes will focus on particular industries, so women working in the fields of science, computing, finance, direct sales. But then other episodes, I think, will focus a little more on the experiences of different kinds of women or women who had different lived experiences. So women who migrated to Britain and what their working lives were like, women with disabilities, young women in education, women from different class backgrounds. So thinking about what work is like for lots of different women as well. So yeah, a little bit of everything, hopefully. And as I say, a chance to talk to loads of really cool, super smart, interesting people who know a lot about this stuff.
Yeah, I love some of our episode titles. I'm just looking at them now. We've got Rags to Riches, Social Mobility and a History of Working Women's Lives. We've got Double Lives, Working Motherhood, At Home with Avon, The Rise of Direct Sales, Success Secrets, Working in Innovation, Selling Sex from Mary Stopes to Ann Summers. I mean, it's just so exciting. All of these episode titles, I can't wait to unpack them with you. So any closing remarks, any final thoughts?
Nothing really. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited. I'm really glad to be doing this with you as an experienced host as well. And I guess the fun thing will be to see what people come up with and see what stories they bring. I guess that's the most interesting thing about history. I always describe history as basically being professionally nosy. You get to root around in the lives of people in the past and kind of see what they were up to. So yeah, we can be professionally nosy together, I guess.
I look forward to being professionally nosy with you. So that's it from us, Dr. Amy Edwards and myself, Angela De Souza, and this is a little sneak preview of what's coming on Women's Business Voice. We're going to be releasing this, was it September we said? From September onwards for 12 weeks, once a week back to back, and you can find it on any major podcast platform or come over to our website, womensbusiness.club /s/voice. I'll pop those links in the chat. You don't have to remember it, or in the descriptions. And come on over and become professionally nosy with us.